This comes as the faithful around the world are still processing the killing by euthanasia of a 25-year-old woman in Spain, despite objections from her family. The case raises many questions about the startling rise of euthanasia and assisted suicide. EWTN Vatican contributor Sofia Schubeck has more.
How can someone in that state of mind have had the choice and have had known what to do? That's what's so scandalous about all this.
All eyes were on the Sant Camil Hospital in Barcelona, Spain, when on March 26th, 25-year-old Noelia Castillo was hours from being killed by euthanasia, despite objections from her parents and Christian legal experts.
È evidente che lo Stato spagnolo non ha fatto abbastanza per aiutarla, perché in questi casi bisogna aiutare le persone a ritrovare il senso della loro vita. Non si può offrire la morte come soluzione alla sofferenza. Le persone vanno aiutate.
Noelia's troubled childhood consisted of living under state-run guardianship, suffering several sexual assaults, and a suicide attempt out of a fifth-floor window that left her wheelchair-bound and depressed.
So, euthanasia was legalized in Europe in the early 2000s, and since then, thousands of people have been victims of euthanasia. Why was this case of Noelia Castillo such a shock to the internet when so many have gone before her?
Semplicemente il caso di Noelia ha colpito l'opinione pubblica e ha causato una reazione devastante, perché permettere l'eutanasia a una giovane donna ventenne che ha subito abusi sessuali, che ha in mano la disperazione e la sofferenza, invece di aiutarla gli hanno permesso di accedere all'eutanasia, nonostante il padre ha molto combattuto per cercare di evitarlo, poiché lei, essendo in depressione continua, non era veramente capace di intendere e volere.
And do you fear that her case could be a blueprint for future euthanasia laws in Europe?
Il problema è che ci sono già centinaia di casi di donne giovani che si sono suicidate perché erano in forte depressione. Il professor Theo Boer dell'Università di Utrecht, grande sostenitore dell'eutanasia nel 2002, anche lui ha dichiarato: abbiamo sbagliato perché abbiamo aperto un piano inclinato che non si ferma più. Vediamo quello che succede in Belgio, in Olanda e in Canada. Hanno incominciato con malati terminali e adesso si uccidono disabili, depressi, si lasciano morire alcolisti, malati psichici. Poi dobbiamo renderci conto di una crudele realtà. Costa meno uccidere che curare.
I think that you always have to follow the money trail. It costs money. So it's really, I think in the end you can say it's a cop-out. It's really a way not to deal with social issues. And this is the real issue. The vast majority of people who want to die is because they have a relational issue, because nobody loves them, because they don't feel loved, because they're alone. And we have a society with a lot of loneliness today.
And Father, do you think that the Catholic Church is doing enough to combat euthanasia?
The popes, we've been speaking. We've been hearing the church speaking, the papal teaching. But in terms of what happens in practice, that's varied from parish to parish, from city to city, diocese to diocese. Pope Leo had actually developed a prayer for this recently, for these kinds of suicidal attempts. I think it's a beautiful prayer. Pope Francis would always talk about this, the elderly, the sick, the weak. This is exactly what JP2 talks about. I'm going to quote his Evangelium Vitae. He calls euthanasia a false mercy and indeed a disturbing perversion of mercy, adding that true compassion leads to sharing another's pain. It does not kill the person who's suffering, we cannot bear. It's like we cannot bear their suffering, and so we get rid of them. Instead, here it's saying compassion, sharing their pain, learning to share their pain. That's true compassion.